Hey, what's up guys? So I want to talk about Sangan and its potential to get banned in the future. Maybe not next format, maybe not the format after that, but I really think that at some point in the game, Sangan has a high potential to get banned. Many players have actually talked about Sangan getting banned before. Even really good players really think that Sangan is just too overpowered, and I would have to agree with them to some extent. Originally there was a card called Witch of the Black Forest. Let's go and check out Witch of the Black Forest. She has the kind of the opposite effect of Sangan. So when it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to add one monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. And at the time, Jinzo was a really popular card, and that allowed you to add Jinzo. Jinzo was a really nasty card long time ago in Yu-Gi-Oh! But that said, Witch of the Black Forest eventually got banned, and I don't think she's ever returned and then got rebanned. But the thing is, Witch was originally had the ability to essentially get you really good monsters. But the thing with Sangan now is there's a lot of good, really small monsters in the game at the moment, like Rescue Rabbit that has really good potential. Before there was Rescue Cat, which was a really good card, and this card was with X-Savers, this card was amazing. I played it myself, and it was pretty awesome. But that said, I really feel like Sangan, it's a really good card because it can't ever miss the timing. The only way it doesn't really miss timing, it's essentially not considered on the field, is when you overlay it with XYZ material. So if you have you go Tour Guide into Sangan, you overlay into a Zen Mains, your opponent dark holes you, you do not get your effect for your Sangan. It used to be ruled that you did, but Konami had some problems with that, and they decided, hey, this is way too good, we need to change that, and it was obviously way too good. But that said, Sangan essentially can't really miss the timing, and that's one reason why I think Sangan is just so good, because you can synchro and make a Stardust Dragon, and if Sangan was part of the cards that you use to synchro up for Stardust Dragon, hey, you get a search out, and that's really good. Also, there's a lot of cards that work really well with Sangan. Cards like Creature Swap work well. Chaining when your opponent activates a Mystical Space Typhoon or a Heavy Storm on your face down Call of the Haunted, and you have a Sangan in your graveyard. If you chain the Call of the Haunted, Sangan then hits the field, then this gets destroyed, then you get your Sangan search anyways. You can first turn set Sangan, set Torrential Tribute. Your opponent summons Thunder King, you can Torrential, you still get your Sangan search because Thunder King is no longer on the field. So I really feel like Sangan has a lot of versatility. There was this card called Crush Card Virus. I'm really glad this card is not legal, and I hope it never comes back, because Sangan plus Crush Card, if you open up with that first turn, you almost set yourself up to win, because you basically get to destroy your opponent's hand, and for 3 turns you get to see what they draw, and on top of that you get a Sangan search. You can't really ask for a better opener than that. That's almost opening it with Dust Shoot. Opening it with Dust Shoot was another card that I really hated when people opened up when I was playing against players and they opened up Dust Shoot. But when Crush Card was flipped up, man, this is the ultimate card of nastiness. Yeah, this card, it is banned. But I have Yu-Gi-Oh game on my Xbox, and I have Crush Card plus Sangan, and it's a pretty nasty combo when you get to successfully use it. But I really feel like Sangan has a lot of versatility as far as what you can search for. I've put a whole bunch of really good cards here that I kind of want to just go over. Cards that basically everything you can search Sangan for that's kind of relevant in the meta. First off, you can search pretty much all the hand traps. Every good hand trap. There's also Electric Virus, and there's also a Puppet Plant, but I wouldn't see many players main decking those. But that said, cards like Maxi, Effect Failure, DD Crows, Swift Scarecrow, Battle Fader, all these hand traps, they're searchable through Sangan, Puppet Plant, and Electric Virus as well. But like I said, I don't think players really main deck those unless they really hate those. Other decks like Six Samurais, you side Puppet Plant in, you can. Other things like Inzectors, it's still a relatively popular deck because it did get first place at a YCS last year, but I mean it's only January right now. But yeah, that said, Inzector is still a relatively popular deck because it's relatively inexpensive. But right now, I think a lot of players are playing the Macro Rabbit because it also is a very cheap deck, but it's a pretty good deck too, that said. And Sangan to search out for Rabbit, that's basically you're searching out for such a good card. If you can successfully get off a Rabbit, you basically go plus 2 to 3 depending on how you look at it. Depending, you make Lagia, Dolka, Abyss Dweller, whatever you need to make against your opponent. It's just really good. The versatility that Rescue Rabbit basically gets you, it's pretty nasty. Now, I mean, you could search Gen X Undyne. You can also search Diva with Sangan, but I don't really feel it's necessary in the Murma Atlanteans. But I mean, you do still have a lot of things that you technically can search for. I know Diva's a really good target. Sometimes you need that Air Orca, you know, when your opponent makes like a Lagia first turn, and they don't really know rulings, you can kind of get around with going Diva into Air Orca. I've seen that happen a few times. You know, I've seen a few players actually play Sangan in Remote Atlanteans. I don't really think it's necessary, but it's not necessarily bad because you have a lot of good cards you can search for. Like I mentioned, Undyne. Plus you have Diva. I think Diva's good, and you know, depending on if you just need, you know, a heavy infantry or marksman, and you can just discard them for Abyss Megalo, you kind of set up. So you know, if Sangan's not bad in the deck, it's just, for me, I don't think it's necessary. But definitely, if you don't happen to have, you know, all the cards because you're running a budget variant, you don't have, you only have like maybe one Abyss Megalo. Hey, you can throw a Sangan in there, and you can, you know, start getting your deck thinning, you know, in. It's not bad. Next up, as far as windups, you can basically search for everything windup, which is really nasty because, like, I'm sure everyone knows Magician plus Shark equals pretty much game over. Although in most variants you play like Windup Factory, so like Factory plus Rabbit, you get a search out anyways. So I don't think that windups would really hurt. I mean, I don't really feel like there's a deck that would really hurt if you banned Sangan, but there's a lot of like just good searchable cards. Like you know, you can search Tour Guide with Sangan. Tour Guide is like instant, like, you know, 3,000 attacker if you want. You can go defensive with like a Zen mains. You can go Temtem to get rid of your opponent's XYZs. You know, I really feel like, you know, Tour Guide is still a really good card. And even though it was a TCG exclusive, I was surprised that it went to 2. But at the same time, like, I if anything, I thought this card would have been, you know, put to 1 or banned because, I mean, the versatility that Tour Guide allows in the game, it's kind of crazy. But the thing is, since, you know, they were trying to promote XYZs, I guess, you know, they just kept it at 2. But, you know, even at 2, I still feel like this card, it just, the ability to make like Levier, like you have so many options with one card and there's like no cost. Like if you could only special summon the monster from your like hand, like then that would be, you know, that would make sense. That's perfectly fine with me. But yeah, you know, you can search out Tour Guide to, you know, instant out to, you know, whatever you need to go for majority of the time. And then there's also, you know, Earth. If you're playing Agent, sometimes you have like a bad hand. You have like multiple Hyperions, Christia, and like maybe BLS or something. You go Sangan into Earth and you just start the flow of your deck. And then you can search out Honest, and this card's just way too good. I always want to make a video just about how much I dislike Honest. I like it when I have it, it's totally cool. But when my opponent has Honest, it's like, oh, you have Honest? The card's unfair. But also like Grand Mole, that's just a good searchable card with Sangan. But I really want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Sangan should be banned, or do you think it, you know, has a chance to be banned maybe next format or the format perhaps after that? Because I know that I really feel like Sangan allows so much searchability in like, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's really been a contender in my opinion to get banned multiple times. I really feel like there's just too many good cards that Sangan allows you just to go right into, and also when you synchro with Sangan, you know, you get its effect. Essentially, you can't miss the timing. Like, let me just show you a card that you can miss the timing. Botanical Girl. This was a card a few plant players used to try this card, and then when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add. So that's the downside with Botanical Girl. When players were using it, a lot of players didn't know this ruling, and some players got away with synchroing with Botanical Girl and then you know, having her effect to, you know, activate, which was really nasty. But yeah, Sangan basically can't miss the timing because this is. It doesn't say you can, it's just it's a mandatory effect. So I really feel like Sangan definitely has some potential to get banned in the future, but let me know what you guys think because, yeah, I don't know. I think that, you know, regardless of what format it is, Sangan, or, you know, regardless of what decks come out in the future, there always will be cards that Sangan can search for, and those essentially get most decks started. Like, you just need that, you know, Rescue Rabbit. Oh, you have Shark, you just need Magician, set Sangan, you got it next turn, no worries. And then also you can just search for a lot of, like, just good cards, like Honest, and Tour Guide, and, you know, Dragonfly, or Hornet, if you want to search for Hornet. It gets Girga started, too, which I didn't really talk about, but, I mean, you can search for the Accelerator, you can search for pretty much most of the stuff in Girgas anyways. But yeah, let me know what you guys think as far as Sangan. Would you be surprised if it got banned? I wouldn't be surprised at all. I'd be like, well, oh well, I've got a few foil Sangans. I guess they can go on my wall now. But yeah, let me know what you think of Sangan if it did get banned. Would you be surprised? Or do you think it should be banned? Or do you think it's fair and it should never get banned? Although, you know, sometimes there's, like this card's just too good to search out with. But anyways, thanks for watching. Asian Eyes signing out.